start with our cap of the week. Abe, who was capping?
One of my favorite segments, man. My first cap of the week goes to new Arizona Cardinals head coach, Jonathan Gannon. Oh, Johnny boy, Johnny boy. I loved you for a majority part of the year. Johnny actually he was lying all over the place. Jonathan Gannon said, and I'm still trying to understand the motive behind this lie. Maybe you can help me out. Jonathan Gannon said to me, not to me. Jonathan Gannon said that Howie Roseman and the Philadelphia Eagles offered him head coaching money and more money than he got in Arizona to stay and be the defensive coordinator. Cap. First off, the rumor was Howie Roseman told you to stay in Arizona and interview for the Cardinals. So you think he's the one that's trying to keep you away from them? Absolutely not. Howie Roseman, one of the best and most revered general managers in all of football, that everyone knows is a smart dude, is going to look at the performance that your defense put up in the Super Bowl and the next day double your salary? Cap.
Do you think that's fair, though, to measure someone off of just that one game?
No, but I think when...
Like going into that game, you would have said he's one of the top 3 DCs in the league, right? With the top defense.
Probably not. Probably not.
No?
No,
Okay.
Probably not. I'd say we'd have like top 3 defense, but not any which way necessarily because of him. How do I know it's Cap? Is because... Or how do I put the focus on the Super Bowl? Jack. He interviewed for the job 12 hours after his defense gave up 38 points in the Super Bowl. You're telling me the first question the Cardinals asked wasn't, oh, so tell me about yourself. No, Jack, it was what the fuck happened last night in the game, and how are you going to make sure that doesn't happen here? So that's my first cap, because there's no way in hell I believe that Howie Roseman offered him head coaching money to stay as a coordinator in Philadelphia. No shot. Cap number 2. We all saw that video of Jonathan Gannon going around looking like cringy McCringleberry, introducing himself to all the players, looking them up. If you watch the video, he eyes each one of his players up like a piece of fucking meat from head to toe as he introduces himself, doing the pew, pew, pew. It literally looked like a skit from Nathan For You. But I will say it is quite hypocritical of Eagles fans to slander Jonathan Gannon because of that video, because Sirianni was a fucking whack job in his first.
He still is a whack job.
Yeah, but at least he got to
He's
a
a
Super Bowl.
cocky whack job now.
But in part of that clip, which was weird in itself, he spoke with Kyler, the quarterback. And Kyler and him were talking about why he took the job. And he goes, well, when I look around the league and I think of all the openings, like, why wouldn't I take a job with a franchise quarterback already in place? Cap. We're not just going to call Kyler franchise quarterback. We're not going to do that.
I am a huge... He's not the guy.
Sure.
But he's a franchise quarterback.
Sure, by paychecks. Then Tobias is a franchise player. Okay, sure. But that's just Cap. Jonathan Gannon, you know damn well that if Kyler has 1.5 bad years after he comes back from his ACL, he's gone. A franchise quarterback doesn't have that leash. You took that job because it's in Arizona, because you're going to be getting paid, and it's simple as that. Just leave it at that. There's no reason to throw in these lies. Nobody likes you more because you call Kyler a franchise guy.
Yes, they do.
Oh, no, they
Stop.
don't. No, they
you
don't.
go, Abe, the first day of work at your new company, you're all hyped up. You're talking about, oh, the boss is cool. My coworkers are the man. They're big fans. And then, like, by week 2, you're like, oh, my God, shut up. And you're turning off notifications on Slack. My cap of the week belongs to Adam Silver.
No.
I'm not sure if you guys know where I'm going to go with this, because I'm sure we could go a million different ways. Adam Silver said, this is how we're going to format the NBA All-Star Draft. We're going to do the reserves first, so no one feels like they were picked last.
I mean, credit to you. I went to Penn State, so I don't want to talk about my education level. It was very hard for me to deduce who would have been the last pick overall based off the format. So I'll give Adam Silver credit for that.
Yes, major credit to him, because look, maybe we're just making an assumption that the starters would have been drafted first, which I guess in theory they wouldn't have. Like if it was an open player pool and Lauri Markkanen was a starter, he wouldn't be picked in the first 10. Would you agree with that? Like Lillard gets picked before.
Yeah.
But the last reserve was obviously going to be the last pick in the draft, and that was Jaren Jackson Jr. Do I feel bad for Jaren Jackson Jr. because he was drafted last? No, because I looked up that he's making $100 million guaranteed over the next 4 years. He's okay. When I got bullied in school and didn't get picked first and ended up getting picked last, maybe my ego in 6th grade was hurt. But these are grown adults who are making many $1 million to play in a glorified layup line, as they said.
Yeah, I'm glad that someone on this podcast has experienced getting picked last and pick up, because I sure as hell don't. So it's very beneficial to the content that you can speak to what that feels like.
It's relatable. Yeah, it's very relatable.
I don't know. Because think about it. If you're thinking from a GM standpoint, wouldn't you want to build your bench around your starters and know what you need rather than vice versa?
Like, you'd like that they pick the reserves first?
No, I don't. I think they should have to pick the starters first because it helps them build a more solid team that gels together.
The only
like LeBron lost and was stuck with 2 bigs as starters.
Yeah. The problem was that Jokic and Luka had no interest, but LeBron drafted a much superior team, including the fact that Giannis wasn't even going to play in the game, which is pretty hilarious. So
I will say that was awesome. The draft was awesome. I will also say there is no reason on this godforsaken earth that pregame should start at 6:30 Eastern and the game should tip off at 9 p.m. They drug, whatever you want to call it, I don't know proper grammar, that out to no end. I looked at my clock when the starters were starting to get picked. It was 8:15. This thing started 45 minutes ago. It was long. It was long.
They broke for commercial in between the reserves and the starters. I would argue that a snake draft could potentially make a lot of sense. I mean, given that every schoolyard draft ever, I feel like, was a snake. It seems unfair. You get first pick, third pick, fifth. Anyways, the idea of it was a hit. The idea that Adam Silver said we wouldn't know who the last pick was to save the fragile egos of these superstars was a lie. But it was a success all around, and Chuck and Shaq and those guys they're the best. And
was he like so we're watching the starters get picked or the bench get picked, and Chuck was saying whatever the hell he was saying, and Shaq was like, "Oh, he is blacked out right now." Chuck was that drunk, right? He had to have been.
No, he wasn't drunk. I was in the green room with them before. The reason he was like that was because the mic was on a delay. But the crazier part, and you know this from watching on TV, was they were trying to do Ernie in the stadium and then have the other 3 commentate over the picks. And we were in the TNT room with producers and Grant Hill, Reggie Miller, and we're all sitting there like, oh my God, it's a hot mic, like it's fucked up,
dude.
And then there was literally TNT people being like, no, this is how the execs wanted it. They wanted the commentary over it. So that didn't
so right when the draft started. It was honestly like all night. Like if we were doing Cuck of the Week instead of Cap of the Week, it would have been Turner, because I thought I was drunk listening to it. I was like, or schizophrenic, hearing voices in my head.
It is like they could have at least thrown them in the corner in a little box
because
like
the first 15 seconds was like Shaq like saying like, Chuck, I'll come over there and beat your ass or something. And meanwhile, Ernie Johnson's just like introducing what the concept of the draft means. And I was like, someone's going to say some fucked up shit right now. And I'm waiting for it. And it was hard because like half the audio was like 50% audio from the guys that were commentating it, 50% from Ernie, and then it would go to full Ernie. It was a wild viewing experience. The draft was awesome. But Turner, you got to figure that out, because until you said that, Jack, and everybody on the internet was under the impression that they were hot mics at the time.
Yeah. No, that was intentional, which was pretty